For Region 8, it's approximately 193,000 assists per year. Region 8,
Wow.
Westchester, Columbia, Dutchess, Rockland, Orange County.
That's a lot of people and a lot of stories.
That's a lot of people. Well, not all heroes wear capes. Some wear hard hats. You've certainly seen them on our roadways with their bright flashing lights coming to the rescue of stranded motorists. But today we're going to talk about our help trucks that help more people than you might know.
The New York State Department of Transportation presents the DOT POD.
And welcome into the DOT POD. I'm Josh Heller.
And I'm Anya Cardos.
And we are delighted to have you joining us. Well, today we're talking about something that New Yorkers see on many of our state highways and roadways, especially during big weather events, and that would be our help trucks, those red and white trucks that seem to show up at exactly the right moment when flat tires, spinouts, or dead batteries will happen.
And oh boy, are people really happy when they see them when they are in a messy situation. And that would be our first big statewide snowstorm. I know many people who are listening understand what happened. That was the big storm that hit New York on Sunday, January 25th. And help truck operators were out in some of the toughest conditions imaginable to help out motorists. Today, we are in the Hudson Valley talking with help truck operator Jerry Gamone, who has more than 30 years experience, and he was out in that huge storm, and he's going to talk about that and his work. We're also going to hear from Lance Gorney, who manages DOT's Transportation Management Center for DOT here in Hawthorne, New York. And we're also going to chat with New York State Police Trooper Mike Reilly, who is one of our partners with the program. Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Really
having us.
appreciate it.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I think I want to first start out by talking about where we are. We're at the TMC here in Hawthorne, and we've been to different
it's
TMCs
beautiful.
in the past. This is quite a setup here.
Yeah.
So I guess Lance, we'll start with you. I mean, just talk about this building that we're in. I mean, in front of us is just an enormous
A huge bank of screens.
We'll have some pictures to go along with the audio, but it's quite something here.
Yeah, this is a special facility for our Department of Transportation. This building was opened up in 2004, and what we have here is a communications hub that we communicate with all our residencies, the public, up into Albany, and we have the ability to view our monitors and through the camera see what is going on our roadways, so that when we see a disabled vehicle, we can call out for assistance and get the help truck drivers out there quickly to respond to these problem areas.
And so Josh said what we're looking at, there's like dozens of screens, and you can see cars going by. These are various roadways, and you guys are like the eye in the sky, basically watching and seeing if there's any trouble.
Exactly. Eye in the sky, perfect. And when the storm was hitting, we were here monitoring those cameras, seeing which roadways needed assistance, where the problem areas were, and trying to get help there as quickly as we could.
And Jerry, you were out there in that monster of a storm. You know, talk about what it was like to be out there. Sometimes in whiteout conditions, hazards all around you. Just talk about what that's like when the call comes in and you're heading out.
Okay, I've been out at some of these storms in the past. This was a really, really bad one. The worst one we had was probably 1997, where we actually weren't out on the road. It was so bad. And people will drive in storms no matter what, which is either a good or bad thing. But you try to do the best you can. Like I was going to say, the program started in 1994, which was also start of a bad storm. And years go by, it continually gets worse and worse with these storms. And we try to help as many people as possible during these times.
When you pull up to someone, sometimes you're on a route, sometimes you're called somewhere to assist a disabled motorist, whatever's going on. What is that moment like for you? Do you have like a mental triage list going through your mind where you're like assessing as you're approaching? What is that like for you?
Okay, first, when you're pulling up to a vehicle, basically the biggest thing is knowing where you are.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who say, oh, I'm on the Bronx River. No, you're on the Spring Parkway.
Right.
And that's a big thing. So you find out where you are. With the state police, we do mile markers. You tell them where you are, what type of vehicle you have, and what the situation could or could not be. Flat tire, accident scene, and so on.
And sometimes you're right. People don't know where they are. Real quick, what's your advice for people awareness, I guess, is key, but what do you want them to know about that?
A big thing is if you have an iPhone has an app called Mile One. Not that I'm promoting iPhone, but it's Mile One and it'll tell you exactly where you are. Worst comes to worst, use Google Maps, just so you know where you are if you need help.
Now you mentioned working with the state troopers, so we'll bring in Trooper Reilly, and I guess talk about the collaboration here, because really it's all about safety for our help truck drivers, but also safety for the drivers on the side of the road. I mean, it's a hazard, regardless of if it's a hazardous situation like the storm, which is just
it's imperative.
Hazardous. But yeah, I mean, even if just like a day like today, a beautiful sunny day, if someone's off on the side of the road, they need to get off there. So talk about your what you do and how this kind of collaboration works.
Well, I'm one of the managers here, so we have 35 trucks in 5 different counties. We can see they have cameras front and back on the help trucks, and we can monitor them from the desk, from the phone, from the car. So we're basically the managers of the program, and we want to make sure that the help drivers are doing things that are safe and protecting our troopers, our firemen, motorists, that sort of thing. That's our main priority. Quick clearance is one of them. Scene safety. When someone like Jerry's out of his truck, every minute you're out of your truck, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
You could get run over. But
and this feels like a good time to remind people that the move over law is not just for
emergency
for emergency vehicles, obviously, but it's also for help trucks. It's also
disabled cars.
Yeah.
The move over law has included any vehicle on the side of the road with flashing lights.
And super important that they do, because people like you are going to be out there, and Trooper Reilly, you're going to be out there as well. And these roads are high-speed roads.
Yeah, people are unaware. A lot of people are unaware of these laws that are constantly changing. And now, like Jerry said, it encompasses all emergency vehicles, not just police and fire now. So a lot of people don't know that. So it just involves education, enforcement, which is what we're trying to do here with this program in DOT Region 8.
So how does state police then partner with us? Do you offer like traffic control, and how specific can you get on that? Can you tell us what you do?
Well, the road trooper is out with the help truck driver daily, as well as the county police, the local police on certain roads. My purpose here, along with Trooper Izzo and Sergeant Shannon, is to manage the program between the contractor and the help drivers and make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, staying safe. That's basically the reason we're here.
Lance, I want you to go ahead and take us through a situation beginning to end. So you're here and okay, we see something on the cameras that, there's a disabled vehicle. And let's not even talk about the storm, which obviously adds many complications. But just on a normal day, take us through what happens. What are the machinations that get us from, it being seen, it being, knowing that there's an issue to, having people go out there, the help trucks dispatched, making sure there's communication, and ultimately, having the scene clean up. Take us through the whole thing.
Well, so there's a couple different ways we can communicate that a driver needs assistance, right? So either we can see it on the cameras and notify the state police, because they actually dispatch the help truck driver, or it gets called in from the person that needs assistance, or if a driver driving by calls in. So on our parkways, especially with the narrowness of the roadways and the high-speed traffic, getting help truck drivers out there quickly is imperative. So most stranded motorists, if you call 911, that goes right to the dispatch center right here at this facility. They can notify the troopers, and then they'll dispatch out the help truck driver to closest to that area. And also, the help truck drivers do travel down the roadways, so if they see you, they'll respond immediately.
So, Jerry, say you're driving down the road, you happen to see a stranded motorist, you're like, all right, I'm up. You pull on over. What kind of communication goes back to here, to the TMC, to let them know, like, all right, got one, and working on that?
Okay, what you would do is first you would basically Tell them what direction you are, where you are, what type of vehicle you come up to. We do the same thing as a police officer would do. You'd say license plate 123 ABC, white Ford. You don't have to go into a detail, but general. Wait for your dispatch to say, okay, that they received it. Get out of the car, walk up to the person. Usually on the passenger side. Sometimes you can't do it. You got to go through the driver's side. Ask what's wrong, what assistance you need, and proceed from there. And try to help them as best you can. Explain everything that's going to happen that we do, that everything we do is free. There's no charge for any services we have, gas, tire change, antifreeze, and so on. If they need more help, tow trucks. Go from there.
You just talked about some of the things that you can provide. What are the services that you can use to help out a stranded motorist or someone in need?
We have jacks, we have antifreeze, we have gasoline. We give about 1 to 2 gallons. We're just there to basically get you from point A to the nearest exit to get off the road. We're not there to fix your car on the side of the road. We're just a quick fix.
Right.
So we don't diagnose a problem and saying, oh, yeah, you need a new motor. No, it's just general quick fix, get you off the road. If you have your own service, you can call them. If you want our tow, we can call you a tow also. Through the state police.
What happens if there is need a motor and it's something that you can help with, so you would help facilitate, getting the next level.
Either they could call their own tow, which AAA, mobile, whatever, or we could use the authorized tows that the state has set up. Each person, like I said, we all have different sectors that we drive. So my route is from Tuckahoe Road to Greenberg, which is 100B. And it might be a short route, but there's a lot happening. It becomes Le Mans.
Jerry has the busiest section, one of the most dangerous sections on the Sprain Parkway between the Bronx all the way up to the Taconic, basically. A 3-lane parkway, both directions. Very deadly, very dangerous.
And it's not only dangerous for the help truck operators, but also for those motorists. I had the benefit of actually reading some letters and emails that were sent by members of the public to DOT regarding the help truck, the help program. And they were just really amazing. And you could tell that they were heartfelt and people were really grateful. One of them was a gentleman who was on his way to a funeral of a friend, and he was already having a very hard day. But a help truck operator stops and helps with a flat tire, and they are able to get the help they need and then get on their way. Other people were commenting in much the same vein, just a moment where you just feel helpless. What are some of those stories from the road, or one in particular that kind of comes to mind for you, Jerry?
I actually have a video of it, which I can't show you here, but a lady who car broke down. She opens her car door. Her dog runs out into the lane.
Oh, no.
I looked up the parkway. I looked up the road, ran after the dog, pulled it at the shoulder. Because people would rather hit a person instead of an animal. And where we were, cars would have went all over the place. So you just have to watch what you're doing and so forth. And also to reiterate on something, people can call 911 if they have a flat tire. It might not be an emergency, like, oh, I only thought I could call for
like AAA
accidents.
or something.
No, you can call for a flat tire. You can call that you ran out of gas. 911 will help you.
That is good to know. Thank you for sharing that.
Obviously, I'm sure that woman whose dog ran out there was extremely grateful. There has to be a sense of pride in what you're doing, that you're able to. It has to feel good at the end of the day that you did help people who were in dire need sometimes.
Oh yeah, like I said, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't last over 31 years and so forth. There are days, like with anything, where it gets to you, but we've also, like I said, not only do we do things like that, but we also do, unfortunately, accident scenes. And 9 times out of 10, as Trooper Reilly will say, we're there before anybody even knows there's one. We'll tell them what we need, where we are, and everything. 9 times out of 10, I already have things set up for the trooper. When he gets there, all he has to do is a report. And so do the other drivers too.
Let's talk about training. Lance and Jerry, you can both talk about that. And also, too, Trooper Reilly, feel free to jump in on this as well. And what the value of training. What kind of training do you need to be a help truck operator? And why is it critical to the program? I'm going to say it's kind of obvious why it's critical, but in what ways that maybe we don't know?
Okay, basically when I train somebody, I've trained people for Albany. I've trained people for Rochester when they started their programs up there. Basically, the first thing I tell is safety. Because if you're not safe and you don't know how to be safe, you can't do the job. Because if you get hurt, and nobody's there, because people will panic. Fast story. I was hit by a car, had my left arm broken in 3 spots. The person who I was helping started to cry. And I had to get up off the ground, took off my wedding band, and call my own ambulance.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, like
you're
I said,
helping yourself.
I'm helping myself. So, like I said, it's critical that safety is a big part. Then we explain to the drivers how to do a tire change, how to boost a vehicle, how and when to put antifreeze in a car. Don't open the cap and immediately if you see a car overheating. The basics to get them, like just basic stuff.
Anything can go wrong at any moment, and they have a really dangerous job. They're the unsung heroes, in my opinion. Okay. They don't get enough credit for what they do on a daily basis.
I am curious. So we're talking mostly about stranded motorists, but what about commercial vehicles? What about larger trucks? What is your ability to? I mean, obviously, need to change a tire on an 18-wheeler. Can't do that. So, what happens in those types of situations when you are dealing with some larger vehicles? Now, obviously on the parkways, those aren't there. Hopefully.
I've done bigger roads.
So what happens in that situation?
Okay, one, if they break down in the lane, which could be a problem, is they're not the smallest vehicles, we set up a safety zone behind the vehicle, especially if it's in the lane. Flares, cones, whatever. Then we call our dispatch point, whether it's a state police or throughway. Tell them, okay, I'm out at this location, such and such. And then we talk to the driver. What's wrong? Oh, I got a flat tire. Could you move the vehicle? No. Okay. Then we call, if they're on the shoulder, they could call their own service if they're over 10,000 pounds. And the same thing on 287, 95, and 684. They call their own service. If not, we call our dispatch point and they say, send me a heavy duty.
Right now.
Right.
But they say, okay, we got to, also another thing you have to ask the driver of the vehicle, what do you have in it?
Yeah, of course.
And how heavy is it? And they'll say 70,000 pounds. So they'll either send a heavy, super heavy, or even bigger than that.
And then do you have to worry about what the contents are that they have? Is there flammable? Is there, are we dealing with some things that could go from bad
right.
to real bad?
You basically have to see exactly what everything. You look at the placards, which we do have a thing on our phones, which will tell us what's in a vehicle, and go from there. But basically what you would do is set up your safety zone first, then see what happens.
So I'm curious, how, you mentioned, a lot, how, what kind of numbers are we talking about here for how many times you guys are dispatched? What is that like? I mean, how often, how needed are you guys? I mean, what are we talking about as far as the numbers are concerned?
For Region 8, it's approximately 193,000 assists per year. Region 8,
wow.
Westchester, Columbia, Dutchess, Rockland, Orange County.
That's a lot of people and a lot of stories.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. That's amazing. How many drivers in just the Hudson Valley region alone?
We have 35 trucks.
Okay.
We have 12 backup trucks, and we have a program that was started years ago. They do help trucks on the weekends. We have a 15 truck crew on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, and that's April through December.
You kind of touched upon this, Jerry, but Lance, talk a little bit about the history of this program. And my guess is that from where it started to where it is now is a massive, kind of growth, both in the forces that you have at your disposal, but also in the necessity of it.
So the program started off in 1994, started in a few areas, and as the perceived need increased every year, they started expanding the roads that would be covered by the help truck program. Down for Region 8, most of our help truck services are through the Westchester area, Rockland County, and 84 from 17 to the Newburgh Beacon Bridge going across. That's where the heavy density of vehicle traffic is. And the parkways are especially vulnerable because of the speeds of the roadway and the narrowness of the roadway. So the help truck program really benefits those drivers that are on the parkways. And it has just expanded to those. We have 5 beats. We cover all the parkways in the Hudson Valley region, plus 684, 84, and parts of the Thruway and 95.
Just one interesting thing, before the Syracuse area had a help truck program. Region 8, which is this area based in Westchester County, is the largest help truck program in the state. And we would go up with an armada, 6 or 8 trucks and a trooper, and we would drive from here to Syracuse for the state fair every year. We would stay in a hotel, and we would deal with the heavy traffic up in the Syracuse area for approximately 2 weeks. And now that they have their own program, we still go up. We bring less equipment, less trucks. But the guys like it. They like a different change of scenery. They get to stay in a hotel. They get to see the state fair on their days off. Just an interesting little thing.
Well, and it also shows the interconnectivity of the state. We talk about it all the time with our snow forces that, hey, we got a storm. Not including this past storm, which hit the entirety of the state, but usually it's, hey, we need some trucks out in Buffalo.
Yeah, we need operators.
We're gonna, send them from Albany or whatever it might be. So it truly does show the interconnectivity of the entire forces here in the state helping each other out.
Right. You need help, I'm giving you help, and vice versa.
The ebb and flow of traffic. It could be in Syracuse for 2 weeks in the state fair, and then it's down on Long Island or wherever. You put your assets where you need them.
Yes, I'd just like to add, so the state does take a look at where major events may happen in the state, and they will ask for resources from different regions of the state to go help an area that's going to either get a bad storm event. We actually sent drivers up for the eclipse when we had the solar eclipse event that came
that.
out.
Sure. Yes.
Many of our help truck drivers supported that effort to be up where the totality of the eclipse was going to take place.
In case people ran out of gas, they were able to help out. Flat tire. Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I think basically what I'm hearing is 2 main things that I want to pass along, and that's number 1, call 911, tell them you got a flat tire on the side of the road. Just get the information out there so you can get off of there as soon as humanly possible. And number 2, move over. Move over. You see those lights, move over. I don't care if you see the lights. There's a car on the side of the road. Move over.
Yeah.
Move over. As long as it's safe for you to do so. Move over.
Correct. In the event you cannot move over, you're supposed to slow down.
Yeah. Yeah. So keep yourself safe, but move over, slow down. The safety of everyone out there. Both the motorists and the troopers and the drivers, it has to be paramount.
Yeah.
Has to be paramount.
Lance, Jerry, Trooper Reilly, thank you so much for your time. And thank you doubly for the work that you do to keep all of us safe on our roadways. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, again, thank you to you and to all who are helping with this program. Not just the 3 of you, but the other troopers and other drivers who are out there putting their safety at risk for the safety of the traveling public. We truly, truly appreciate it. And as Anya said, thanks for taking a few minutes of your time and sitting down and chatting with us 2 chuckleheads. We do appreciate that as well. Well, that'll just about do it for us here from the DOTPOD. Thanks so much. However and wherever you may be listening to us from. Anya, another good one in the books.
Yeah, that's right. When you see those trucks out there, the red and white trucks, know that help is on the way, or, you're helping them out by maybe just moving over and giving them the room to do their work.
Podcast at dot.ny.gov. That's the easiest way to get in touch with us. It's podcast at dot.ny.gov. So she's Anya. I'm Josh. Until next time, we are right here on the DOT POD.